This is a times 100 battle for the Milk Chocolate versus Dark Chocolate versus White Chocolate Splatfest, which took place February 11th of 2023. I was Team Milk Chocolate, and a times 100 battle is one battle that is worth 100 times the points you would earn through a singular battle. So as you can see here, we're starting off, we are using the Jet Squelcher, which is a long-range fully automatic shooter type weapon, and that'll help us gain the upper hand in really supporting our teammates. So we're starting here by making sure we cover as much turf as possible to prevent the enemy team from moving around. Right now I'm trying to chase after the Bloblobler, but they throw their Ink Storm, so I pull out my Ink Vac to suck up all the ink that they are laying down with that. We're able to kill one here, then 2, 3, and get an assist on the floor. So here I'm going to try to kill this Tentatek, and then I'm going to go back to see if I can support my teammates from a longer range. When using a long-range weapon, it's incredibly important to make sure you're not up close to the opponent, because you don't want to give them the upper hand. You have the upper hand when using range. So I'm going to use my Ink Vac here to prevent myself from getting shot by the Bloblobler, and then use it to kill their teammates. In order to let Skippy jump to me, I had to make sure I stood there and protected them while they landed. And here I'm trying to once again get the upper hand on them by staying at a higher elevation rather than dropping down. That was my first and last mistake of this match, which was getting too close to the Tentatek splatter shot. We're starting to push back into mid and losing a bit of control of the map. But keeping a strong tabs on all of the enemy players really helps me gain the upper hand here. Really getting a higher elevation than everyone else. I purposefully didn't use my Ink Vac here, because I didn't want, I wanted to make sure I killed the Tentatek before I pulled out my Ink Vac, to make sure that they couldn't put down as much ink. That probably would have lost the game if I had pulled out my Ink Vac early. Right now, I'm staring at the top of the screen to make sure my team won. So this is one of the Splatfest's limited time modes, which only take place during Splatfest, called the Tricolor Turf War. It's a 2v4v2 format in which players fight over the Ultra Signal. The two on either sides fight for the Ultra Signal, while the 4 in the middle defend. That is what presents the 2v4v4 format. Once again, we'll be using the Jet Squelcher, as it is extremely broken in Tricolor for whatever reason. It is given the special Ink Vac, which we talked a little bit about before, which will allow me to cover my teammate, suck up any attacking ink while they pick up the Ultra Signal, as shown here, and then I'm able to shoot it down at the floor so they can at least try to recover from having to stand there in the middle of all that crossfire. I'm trying right now to keep a distance from the main area, because it's the spawns of the attacking or the defending team of 4 is on either side. And then we push for the Ultra Signal in the middle and get it both times, thankfully, which spawns a sprinkler in both right in front of me there and in the center of the map. So here I'm back to trying to keep distance from the enemy team. I see a crab tank here that pressured my teammate, and my mistake was actually challenging the crab tank in the first place. Even though now they've nerfed the crab tank a bit, it's still as powerful as ever. Here once again, I'm trying to wipe out the sort of base that they have, but then I made the mistake of challenging a crab tank. That never goes well. Unless you're a Splatana, which will be the next game. Luckily, purple team, the other attacking team, was able to kill that that white team member, so I didn't have to. I'm out of ink here, so I'm going to do a tactical retreat. Once again, we're just trying to cover as much turf as possible, mostly by taking their base, which is, I found, the easiest way to claim the most turf, as they usually don't look at their base unless they die. Which allows for an easy, at least 10%. So we're pulling out the ink vac here to try and launch it into the enemy base, but instead I decided to launch it into a crab tank, and then challenged another crab tank, which didn't work. We're sort of losing the lead here, with white entering our base. In the last 5 seconds, the results disappeared to tense up the moment. This is Splat Zones. Splat Zones is a game mode in which you cover the main zone and keep it covered with your ink to further your count. The count starts at 100 and goes down. Every time you lose the zone, you get a penalty, which is half of whatever you earned, or lost, necessarily. I'll be using the Splatana Wiper, which is a car wiper with a sponge on it instead of a wiper. And it is a semi-short range melee weapon. And it allows for one-shot kills by charging the Splatana. And because Splatana is a close-range weapon, I am wearing quick respawn to counteract that, as well as comeback. So we're going to start off here by trying to suppress the enemies by going straight into their base, which seems to work pretty well. Too bad the NZAP was able to kill me. I honestly shouldn't have tried to throw my Ultra Stamp there, as if instead I had just run away, I would have been able to get some distance from the NZAP and kill them that way. Here, I don't even know what I could have done better there. Really being pushed into a corner by an Ultra Stamp is the last thing we want. So now we're going to cover a little bit of turf, so that way we can charge our special and use it again. Mainly, we want to use our special for inking the zone, because anything that shoots the Ultra Stamp head on usually doesn't land. There's a small little window in which it can. But our main goal here is less inking turf and more getting kills. So now we're trying a little bit for the zone to make sure we don't lose lead. Pushing a bit into the enemy's base if we can, but decide to retreat due to Ultra Stamp. I'm actually going to try to kill the Ultra Stamp so that way it doesn't kill any of my teammates. Here's a Super Chunk, which is just a bunch of bombs that get launched, and they explode after like 4 or so seconds. Using an Ultra Stamp now to try and steal a couple of quick kills. Unfortunately, we only got 1 out of that. Taking cover is crucial when using weapons such as the Splatana. So it's very nice to take, especially from long range. It's very nice to take a couple of seconds, sit behind a pillar, and heal up prior to going back into battle. I'm here trying to destroy the Wave Breaker so it doesn't hit my teammates, and I end up paying for it. Wave Breaker makes it really easy for enemies to point out and locate where your teammates are, while also simultaneously dealing damage. So as we're respawning here, I'm thinking to myself a bit of how I can help my teammates, because it seemed at the moment as if I wasn't doing enough killing, but I decided to go back to killing and seeing if that would work better, just by pushing straight into their base, which we're able to get a nice wipeout from. And while their team was wiped out, I just decided to stand around because I could do that, and they just don't seem to even know I'm there, which is really funny. I literally just camped their team because they can't do anything about it. And this is where I should have honestly just thrown my Ultra Stamp, but I did not. And that's the end. This time, once again, we'll be playing Splat Zones. We'll be playing with Dude, who is one of my Splatoon role models. He's a competitive Splatoon player. And I will be using the Hydra this time around. It is a full auto charged Gatling gun, machine gun, whichever you'd like to call it. Right as we start off here, I'm thinking, where's the best place to stand to make sure I can support my team? As a long-range weapon, supporting your team is crucial. You always have to make sure you're looking for possible kills and providing support to your team in any way possible. So right now, right here, I'm just trying to kill that guy. Thankfully, Dude was able to kill him with his Trizooka. But now I'm going to use my Booyah Bomb to keep them in their base so they're unable to come towards us. I was able to kill at least one person, which is always better than none. I'm going to retreat now to make sure that I'm able to stay alive for my team. As a support weapon, making sure that your team is able to come or jump back to you is very important, because the sooner they jump back to you after they die, the faster they're back in the fight. So now I'll be trying to kill this Ultra Stamp to make sure that whoever's jumping to me is able to stay alive. And as soon as I get damaged, I'm back in my ink trying to regenerate as quickly as possible to get back into the fight and support my teammates. I'm always valuing kills over turf, as the Hydra is not a great turf weapon. It's definitely meant for kills over turfing, so I am valuing kills. We're always making sure to look around, find anybody who could possibly be threatening another one of my teammates, and dispatching them as fast as possible. It's also very important to have range on a team comp, as it really helps support your team.